Hello, my name is James Jackson and welcome to another in the series of videos on information literacy for Harrison College and how to make the best use of the Angel Learning System to be successful in your information literacy course. This video is going to specifically focus on how to perform each week's journal entry. So we've already been through the overview of the different tabs and the front page here, so I'm just going to jump right into the classroom. And inside the classroom section, there's information here on classroom materials. So as I select the classroom materials, we've already talked about questions and answers. There's also some homework materials in here for various homework assignments. That's covered in another video. This video is about the Reflective Research Journal. So as I select the Reflective Research Journal here, you'll notice that there's a grading rubric that gets into the specific grading associated with the journal. So each week's journal is worth 30 points, and the points are broken down into depth of reflection for 10 points, evidence of practice for 10 points, content for 5 points, and functional requirements for 5 points. And so if you're looking to get high scores, you want to make sure you follow the set of rules under the excellent column. If you just don't have the time necessarily to focus on the excellent end of things and you're just trying to find out what you got to do to get by, then there's limitations here on what you need to achieve a minimal grade. That fair column here is probably going to be the lowest anyone's going to want to focus on. The poor column and the did not attempt column tends to be for those that just simply were unable to perform the functions. So those tend to be the lowest end of the scores, with the do not attempt obviously meaning a 0 for that particular category. So just understand it ranges from 0 to 10, and the score itself will be based on how well you follow this content of information. So back up here on the cookie crumb row here, I'm going to go back to the Reflective Research Journal. Notice there's a journal introduction, and this goes through a pretty detailed piece of information, or sets of information of what you need to do each and every week in order to maximize your points. And here's some tips and tricks. Reflect, 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 as they say. So make sure that you're providing enough information so that your instructor is very clear on what you're focusing on for that week. Make sure you're communicating clearly and be honest. This is the focus here is to help the instructor understand if you get the content or not. So if you're having trouble and you're struggling, just go ahead and put that information in your journal, and that's going to help the instructor get back to you. So back to the Reflective Research Journal page. Journal 1 would be reflective for week 1. Journal 2 is reflective for week 2, etc., etc. So I'll click on Journal 1. And here's where you go to read information about week's 1 journal entry. So they provide specific information, and you'll notice this week's journal has broken down into 4 bullet points. In order to get full points for this, you're going to want to make sure that your responses focus on each of the bullet points. Don't just focus on 1, don't just focus on 2, don't just focus on 3. You want to focus and make sure your response hits the points discussed in each one of these bullet points. So that's really critical. That's key to maximizing your points in each week, is whatever topics are discussed, whatever bullet points are listed for each week's worth of the journal, make sure your journal entry provides a response, and your response to each one of the bullet points, and that's how you're going to maximize the points. So now that you've read the information, and you've probably gotten into Microsoft Word, and you're starting to write down your thoughts on these focal points, and now you're ready to actually submit your homework assignment. So this is just going back into the classroom, and now I go down into week 1, and inside here there's a section here for your tasks. So I go to my tasks and I just look for the reflective journal for week 1. And this is the area I can go to and I can submit my reflective journal for the week. By the way, some of you may notice that there are links right in here that can get you to the reflective journal, the grading rubric. For some reason, and to be honest with you, I do not know why, some students can access just fine and other students for some reason cannot. It does seem to be related to what browser you're using, what version of browser you're using, and how you have that browser configured. So the workaround for that is if you're unable to access from these links, don't worry about it. That's okay. Just go back and go and access the journal information from the classroom materials section. And then when you're ready to submit, and we'll just walk through this again. So we've got the classroom materials, reflective journal. This is where you go to read about the grading rubric, introduction to the journaling system, and each week's journal information. I've just clicked on the week 1 journal. And after you've read and you've typed in Microsoft Word what you're going to say for that week's journal, you just go back to the classroom, go into the specific week you're working on. In this case, we'll go to week 1. Go to your tasks section, and then you're going to find your week 1, or whichever week you're working on, the reflective journal. And then you'll go down and you'll be able to click a button and submit your journal entry for that particular week. You can either copy and paste the information from your Word document, or you can just attach the Microsoft Word document for that week's journal. Either method is going to allow the instructor to read the information and assess a grade for you. And as always, if you have any questions or you're having any issues, please do not hesitate to contact your instructor. They'll be happy to give you a hand. Thanks, and that concludes this video. Have a great day.